Good day, everyone. It's me, your instructor in readings in Philippine history for this school year 2020-2021. First, I am going to discuss our first topic na pagpasyahan kong gawin ito bilang tugon sa pangangailangan ng mga mag-aaral natin. So I hope everybody's doing well, particularly my students in this class. Base sa ating syllabus, ang unang topic natin ay meaning and relevance of history. And under this topic, we have the subtopics: the distinction of primary and secondary sources, the external and internal criticism, and repositories of primary sources and different kinds of primary sources. This chapter introduces history as a discipline and as a narrative. It represents the definition which transcends the common, which is history as the study of the past. It includes also the distinction between history and historiography. History has been judged as boring and useless. Hence, its importance or relevance is presented and discussed. The distinction between primary and secondary sources is also be discussed in relation to the historical subject matter being studied and the historical methodology employed by the historian. In order to evaluate sources, external and internal criticisms will be explained. Lastly, the task of the historian as the arbiter of facts and evidences in making his interpretation and forming historical narrative will be tackled. Our objectives for this lesson: so you are expected to define history and historiography, to demonstrate understanding on the importance of history, and evaluate primary sources for their credibility, authenticity, and provenance. Our discussion for today: meaning and relevance of history. So of course, we have to ask the question, what is history? Ano nga ba ang kasaysayan? And I'm sure that you know this already, that history is defined as the study of the past. It can also be said that history is a chronological record of significant events such as those affecting a nation or institution, often including an explanation of their causes. So ang kasaysayan ito ay mga tala ng mga pangyayari at ito ay mga magkakasunod. Hindi lang basta-basta na mga pangyayari sa nakaraan, kundi sabi dito significant events. And they are recorded accordingly in chronological order. Oftentimes, their causes are explained. So ito ay sinasabing traditional na pag-intindi. So kung may traditional or old, ibig sabihin meron tayong new o bagong pag-intindi. But if we're going to look at it, it is not really new. Hindi talaga bago. Kasi matagal na rin ito. So etymologically, history came from the Greek word historia. At ang ibig sabihin nito ay knowledge acquired through inquiry or investigation. So these words are very important. Knowledge which is acquired. So hindi basta-bastang kaalaman pagkat ito ay nakukuha o nakakamit sa pamamagitan ng pagtatanong o pag-iimbestiga. So ang dating nito ay systematic or scientific. Hindi basta-basta na record o naisulat tungkol sa nakaraan, kundi ito ay isang bunga ng pag-aaral o pagtatanong o pag-iimbestiga. It can also be said that, same with the traditional understanding, history is an account of the past. And it is all about a person or a group of people. And these are recorded. That's why they can be found in written documents with historical evidences. Hence, it is not easy to claim something as historical without evidences. Kaya hindi mo masasabi na ito ay bahagi ng kasaysayan kung wala namang basehan. However, history is not limited to written documents. Paano naman yung mga hindi na isulat? Hindi ba sila bahagi ng kasaysayan? So it says here that history can refer also to oral traditions in forms of epics and songs, artifacts, architecture, and memory, and so on. So, marami pang pwedeng pagmulan ng kasaysayan, hindi lang mga naisulat. So, yan ang bago dito sapagkat yung unang pag-intindi, yung unang definasyon sa kasaysayan ay yung mga naisulat lamang. Yung mga hindi naisulat ay hindi nakasali sa kasaysayan. Pero sa bagong pag-intindi, hindi lamang mga nakasulat ang bahagi ng kasaysayan o pinagmumulan ng kasaysayan o batayan ng kasaysayan. So it involves oral traditions which were handed down from one generation to generation. Kasi hindi lahat ng tao ay marunong magsulat. So hindi ibig sabihin na kapag walang nakasulat tungkol sa kanila o wala silang naisulat tungkol sa kanila ay wala na silang kasaysayan. That is why it includes others like oral traditions and architecture, artifacts, and others. Let us also define historiography. So what is historiography? Historiography is simply the history of history. So kasaysayan ng kasaysayan. Further, it means that it is the writing of history, especially the writing of history based on the critical examination of sources, the selection of particular details from the authentic materials in those sources, and the synthesis of those details into a narrative that stands the test of critical examination. The term historiography also refers to the theory and history of historical writing. So kung sa kasaysayan ang ating pinag-aaralan ay mga pangyayari, mga tao, dito sa historiography, ang ating pinag-aaralan ay yung kasaysayan mismo. We can further understand the distinction between these two as we go to the objects of their study. What is the object of the study of history? The object of the study of history is the past. So mga pangyayari sa nakaraan, the events that happen in the past and the causes of such events. On the other hand, historiography is all about history itself. Under history, we have to answer the questions of 5 W's and 1H. Like for example, what happened? When did it happen? Where did it happen? Why did it happen? And who were there? So, kailangan natin sagutin ang mga yun. Kung ang ating pinag-uusapan ay kasaysayan. Anong nangyari? Saan nangyari? Kailan nangyari? Bakit nangyari? Sino ang mga nandoon? O kung paano nangyari? Under historiography, we're not going to ask such questions. So, ano yung mga tanong na kailangan nating sagutin sa historiography? We can ask following questions when we talk about historiography. How was a certain historical text written? Paano ba isinulat ang isang historical text na yan? Sinong nagsulat? Bakit siya pinablish? Anong ginamit ng manunulat kanyang pagsusulat? I mean, the method employed by the historian in writing such text. And what were the sources used? So, if you look at it, mas malalim yung mga tinatanong under historiography. So, we become critical when we talk about historiography. Hence, historiography is very important for students in order to better understand history. So, napakalaking bagay o malaking tulong ang pag-aaral ng historiography para sa pag-aaral ng history. So, you're not going only to learn historical facts, but you are provided with the understanding of those facts and the historian's context. If I may summarize the difference of these two, history are about facts. And if you want to understand these facts, we need historiography because historiography is simply the understanding of those facts and the historian's contexts. Ano naman ang kahalagahan ng kasaysayan? Why do we have to study history? What makes it important? Kasi kung hindi siya mahalaga, huwag na natin pag-aaralan. First, in studying history, ang kasaysayan ay isang paraan sa pagkakaisa ng isang bansa. Paano kaya yun? When a nation knows and understands its history, most likely it is united or it can be united. Kasi naiintindihan nila kung sino sila, ano sila. Alam nila yung identity nila. Pero kung hindi nila alam, hindi nila naiintindihan na sila ay iisang lahi, iisa silang tao, iisa silang bansa. Yan ang rason para sila ay magkawatak-watak. Hence, it is very important to study one's history in order to have unity. Another importance of history, it legitimizes regimes and forge a sense of collective identity through collective memory. In short, para gawing legit yung gobyerno. Kasi pwedeng maging peke ang isang gobyerno o yung namumuno. So sa pag-aaral natin ng kasaysayan, malalaman natin kung ang isang regime o administrasyon ay legit, totoo, tama o hindi. Sa pag-aaral at pag-intindi natin ng kasaysayan, dito natin malalaman kung lehitimo ba ang isang administrasyon o hindi. Because we cannot understand, we cannot know, or there is no way for us to know whether a regime is legit if we do not understand history, if we do not understand what happened or what is happening. Anybody can just claim siya ang nanalo, si B ang nanalo, hindi si A ang nanalo, so on and so forth. So, without proper understanding of history, we do not really know. So, we cannot claim or anybody can just claim kung ano ang totoo. It can forge a sense of collective identity. So, same with the first importance, studying history can be a start of having collective or common identities. Like as Filipinos, we were divided. We are geographically and culturally diverse. However, as time went by, we have forged a collective identity, and so we call ourselves as Filipinos. Another one, to make sense of the present. Simple lang naman yan. Kung alam natin ang nangyari sa nakaraan, mas naiintindihan natin yung mga nangyayari ngayon. So that the events happening now are sensible for us because we can connect to the events of the past. However, if we cannot connect the dots from present to the past, syempre walang saysay kung ano ang nangyayari ngayon. Kaya napakahalaga na balikan ang nakaraan kung sa ganon ay mas maintindihan o naintindihan ang nangyayari sa kasalukuyan. At ito, ang isa sa pinakamahalaga sa lahat, do not repeat mistakes of the past para hindi ulitin ang mga kamalian na nangyari na. As they say, history repeats itself. Nangyayari yun kung hindi tayo natututo sa mga nakaraan na pangyayari. Another one, to inspire people to keep their good practices to move forward. So simply, if we study history, malalaman natin ang tama at mali, yung mabuti at masama. At sa pag-aaral natin na yan, inaasahan na panatilihin natin yung mga mabubuti at iwasan natin gawin yung mga masasama. So, we keep doing what is good and avoid what is bad. We can enumerate more importance of history, but for now, this is what I can share to you.